Hey y'all, welcome to B Nuggets. Here to talk to you today about this concept known as 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Gonna relate this idea, this concept back to the previous video that I shared about tiers of gear. And in that, you have an everyday carry gear is where we're gonna start. That's your first tier. If you're not already a person who carries gear on you, I'm gonna highly suggest and offer for you for your consideration to start carrying some gear on your actual person, not in your purse or actually in a pack that you set down somewhere, but having some gear that is actually on your physical person, on your clothing that you can grab and start to use it immediately. You can walk away from something that you set down and be caught with off guard and not be able to get back to it as quickly as you might think, but having it on you is going to give you some more options. Now, when you're considering putting gear on you, I'm going to talk about things that I have on me, and we're going to apply this concept of 2 is 1, 1 is none to the things that I have on me. I'm going to highly encourage you again to use this idea and this concept not only to the gear that you're applying, but really to see how far you can actually stretch the idea of 2 is 1 and 1 is none to all different areas of your life. In this talk today, we're going to relate it to all kinds of preparedness and self-defense like situations, but use it in everything. See where you can take it. Starting with my everyday carry gear, I highly encourage you, if you don't have on your person a flashlight, to put one on you. Now, we're going to apply 2 is 1, 1 is none to this particular flashlight. This particular flashlight is a Streamlight ProTac 1L 1AA, and there is a very specific, in fact, numerous reasons why I chose this particular light over some others that I have in the past. This particular light, the main reason that I chose it is that it can operate with 3 different types of batteries. It's cool, right, that I have a flashlight and it'll work just as a light. But what's cooler is that it can operate with 3 different types of batteries. That's to say that if this thing runs out of power, I've got 3 different battery sources that I can go to that I'm more easily going to be able to find in a store or around my house, or pull them from different things that I can put in here. It's got this super cool clip that I can put on my pocket, and I also can go hands-free if I have a ball cap or something with a hard edge. It will clip and act as a hands-free light. It has 3 different light settings. It has a high beam, it has a strobe, and it has a low light setting. And all of them will operate as a singular button press, hands-free, and they'll last at different lengths. Another reason why I like this particular light is that it makes a nice fist load in my hand, turning into what is called an equalizer or a force multiplier. This one has some prongs on the end. It's made of some type of aircraft grade aluminum. It's given me more options, more than 1. 2 is 1, 1 is none. I already named numerous. My other pocket, I carry with me a multi-tool. Just by the name alone, we already know that it's going to be doing more than 1. Definitely more than 2. I don't know, there's 20 or 30 tools in this particular one. This is a large one. I like it for its size because it, again, provides me with another opportunity of a good sized fist load, an equalizer, or a multiplier in my other hand. So I now have 2. All the different types of tools that are in here. I use one of all the different types of tools that are in here at least once every single day. I use this flashlight at least once. In fact, I probably use this flashlight at least a half a dozen or sometimes a dozen times every single day. What you'll find is that if you don't carry anything and you start to carry on your person tools, that you are going to find that not only are you going to start to use them all the time, but you're actually going to start to rely on them. And you're going to feel, I do, and I'll say the same as probably be for you, that if you don't have them on you, you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not quite myself. I feel a little bit out of sorts. I feel a little bit naked. Back to this multi-tool. If you're a person who carries on you a pocket knife, I would highly encourage you to upgrade to some type of a multi-tool. It doesn't have to be this big, thick one, but you can find slimmer ones that are probably near the same size as your already pocket knife, but they have some more tools on them inherently, giving you more out of the gate capabilities. Also carry on me a lighter. Now for me, mostly in my everyday, I use this lighter at work, lighting birthday candles or lighting table candles. But this particular lighter was chosen because, one, it has a safety on it. And that is for most Bic lighters, of which this particular one is like the size of, that thumb depress that's actually a fuel depress, it can accidentally get depressed and you can lose all of your fuel. This one has a safety. This one is a form of a plasma lighter, I believe is what it's called, plasma. But when I push this button up, it opens up where the actual button is. If I push it, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. There is a lightsaber-like purple beam bouncing back and forth between the two prongs that are there. This one gives me the ability of lighting things even in wind, whereas a regular fuel lighter can get blown out. This one, when I push it and blow on it, it does not blow out, and it has the safety for the same size. It's doing more for me. Okay, what if I lose all of my gear? It's misplaced, or it falls off, or it's taken from me, or something like that. I have on me a product that's known as a slide belt, made by a company called Slide Belt. And in the buckle of this particular slide belt is a backup knife. There is a backup light, and there is a backup way to start a fire via the flip side of that light is a ferricium rod. And I can start to make sparks. If I know how to get sparks into a tinder source, I can have a backup means of making fire. As well, the strap on this belt is nylon glass filled. It's a higher strength than most leather. I have an ability to use as a mock tourniquet, or I can wrap it around things and start carrying them. I always wear a belt anyway, so why not have a belt that can do more for me and provide me backup tools? All right, let's elaborate and go a little bit further with 2 is 1, 1 is none. We talked about it with gear. I highly encourage you to apply the principle of 2 is 1, or this concept of 2 is 1, 1 is none, to all kinds of gear that you're going to carry or put in your second, tertiary, or fourth layer of gear, that it can do more for you than any one thing, so you're not carrying extra weight and you're getting more benefit, more bang for your buck. But how about we apply it to different areas of preparedness? You're going out somewhere and you're going by yourself. You get hurt. You're going to have to self-medicate or self-heal or self-provide for yourself. If you've got a buddy with you or a partner, one, you're probably going to have more fun, but two, you now have your buddy or your partner to hopefully be able to provide some aid for you, or they can go get it for you. As well, you're traveling through somewhere, it's unsafe. One person can take a rest while the other person provides overwatch, and then you change. You take a rest and they provide overwatch. How about using one person as a decoy, or one person keeping eyes on while the other person flanks? Or one person is looking in one direction and the other person is watching your back or watching your six. Having a primary and then secondary, handgun as a secondary. That's 2 is 1, 1 is none. If one fails or runs out, you can pull on the second one and rely on it. For me, I like in the wintertime, right, I wear hoodies a lot. It's one thing to wear a sweatshirt, but for me, with the added hoodie without the hair, all of the heat loss goes from my neck and out my head. I can self-regulate my temperature by just throwing my hood up. This one also has pockets, so that's kind of cool for me as well. If my hands get warm, I've got a place to put them. How about in self-defense, one-on-one situations, or one on more than one? If I'm just going to throw a singular strike at somebody, that's probably not going to be overly effective. One, they might see it coming, it might get stopped, it might get thwarted, or it's just going to kind of like aggravate them and piss that person off more. But give them the old one 2, jab, cross. This one will bop them back slightly, and this one can be my finisher. Attacking with multiple strikes instead of just a singular attack. In jiu-jitsu, for me, you're going to be very unsuccessful, even at a basic level, doing a singular attack on somebody. In not too long a time, most people get acclimated and familiar and realizing what you're trying to do to them, and they learn the defense of how to stop it. But you can use their reaction to set them up for a secondary or a tertiary attack. Again, it's 2 is 1 and 1 is none. I'm doing multiple attacks as opposed to just one. There are probably loads and loads of other things that can be applied with this concept of 2 is 1 and 1 is none. I would highly encourage you to lock this concept into your brain and apply it not only to your preps, especially your EDC gear and tiers of gear, but also where and when you're going anywhere. You go with 2. 2 is 1. 1 is none, and see where else you might be able to apply 2 is 1, 1 is none. If you know of loads of others, add them into the comments below. It'd be cool to see where else that I can start applying your ideas of 2 is 1 and 1 is none. All right, y'all, keep this locked in, apply it to everything. Till next time.